Good evening, everybody. It is 1 minute to 8 o'clock on this lovely Sunday evening, Sunday the 4th. This is my first one of these for a couple of weeks because we've had Easter and I was doing client cakes, but now I'm back and I'm back with you, and tonight we are going to do this lovely little guy. So cute. I keep doing cute things. Honestly, I'm going to have to sort myself out. I seem to be doing cute thing after cute thing after cute thing at the minute. But I'm going to have to bring out the blood, guts and gore or something. But yeah, you can't get much cuter than that. It's not my fault. On the community group, I ask every week, what are we going to sculpt this Sunday? And then everyone throws ideas at me. Most of the time, they're completely mental. And there's no way I can do them in an hour. But every so often, one pops up and I think, yeah, I can do that. So good evening. Wow, the names are going so fast now. So good evening, Elaine, Joanne, Laurie, Kathy. Good evening, Kathy. Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Sarah is storming away with all your sculpts and stuff in a minute. Nice to have you along. Lorraine, Linda, Andrea. Elaine, I'm not going to get into the bacon sandwich jokes tonight. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all good. So good evening, Cheryl, Debbie, Sabrina, Claire. Hello, good evening, Laura, Donna. Awesome. So you've all found me. Yes, I'm back. Good evening, Anne. I'm turning, Nikki is determined that I'm turning pink and fluffy. I'm not. 1 week I'll surprise you all and we'll do like some sort of like badger roadkill or something, just to bring back to sorry, Alyssa, Avril, Carmel, gosh, everyone's here tonight. We need to bring back some kind of normality. Just gone so pink and fluffy. I think every animal that I've done on these live sculpts for the last couple of months is cute and fluffy. Gemma, no, it doesn't say you're here. All the names show up on the live feeds that are on the main page. I think because it's a public page, all your names show up. It's when we have lives in the groups, because they're private groups, it hides some of your names. So, oh gosh, they're all going to go. So, Kristen, Jane, Sully Hall, Jane, Julie, Laura's still working, Chris, Valentina, one of my very, very first students ever. Bless you. You've been riding along me for years and years, Valentina. So lovely of you. Karen. Nikki says my son would love roadkill. Yeah, I've got quite a dark streak. You guys don't see it, but I'm proper goth head, metal head. I grew up into all goth music, metal music and stuff. So all of you lot sending me down this pink and fluffy route, I'll have to fight back and start doing skulls and stuff. But yeah, this is cool. All right, so Susan, Lynn, Karen. I could just keep. How do I pronounce that? Is it Lilau? Trying to say hello to you, but I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Katie, we are making. I say we. You're not going to do anything. I'm going to try and make this little chap here. This is actually an ornament, okay? This is not a real piggy, it's an ornament, but it's such a nice shape and it simplifies everything down for us for the 1 hour sculpts. Okay, so I thought it was a really good one to follow. Yeah, so cute, I know. But we're going to do a sleepy one, so we're going to do eyes shut. So, couple of things. This is a 10-inch square cake. I've binned off you guys in your epoxy 8-inch rounds. And then 6-inch rounds. I want some length on this one because I want to get right from his nose to his tail in one go. So I'm going to use the length runner plus a 10-inch square. And also, although I love airbrushing, and you know I love airbrushing skin tone is really difficult. We discussed this when we were doing Gizmo a couple of weeks ago, that trying to airbrush skin tone takes a lot of time. It can be done, but it's really, really tricky. And I'd never get it right on the 1 hour fast sculpt. He'd end up sort of looking like Essex orange or something. So I have pre-coloured, and you probably can't see it, can you? Because the colours bleach on with the lights. But this is a nice pink skin tone, sugar flare skin tone. And then we can dust him up a little bit to give him a bit more detail and stuff. But mostly I'm just going to use this. So, good evening, Minnie, South Africa. What's the time in South Africa? Actually, South Africa is not too bad, isn't it? Is South Africa just the same or 1 time different? Because although you're over the other side of the world, you're on the same line, aren't you? You should know this. And then Linda. Linda's making her giraffe. So you guys, yeah, I know you're all making giraffes. and jaguars, and we've got wolves all over. I don't know why. Is it because it's Easter holidays, but you're all suddenly on fire making all your amazing cakes. They're absolutely beautiful. Really loving them. So, and Jane, I'm doing this class in honor of my dear friend Jane, who has an absolute obsession with pigs. Always has done. And this is for Jane. So, should we get a wriggle on? That involves me getting off a chair and I'm sat on my knees. So if I fall over, then just forgive me. All right, hang on. Up, yeah. I think I've got everything I need tonight. Hopefully, this is going to be quite an easy ride. I don't foresee too many problems here. It's really quite an easy cake to do. And if you will watch it, and if you've watched the bunny, you will see that it's pretty much identical. Once you do enough of these, you'll start seeing that similar body shapes and similar animals are actually the same. You just have to like ears up, ears down, different colours, whatever. But this is basically a bunny in a different form. So watch it, and you'll see that it runs the same. So I've got the ginormous knife again, which is quite helpful because then I can just stay a bit further away from this cake. And all we're going to do is carve out this body shape. So you have to pretend that I've filled this, okay? I'm not going to bother filling it because it just goes straight in the bin. But this has been pre-filled and then we've got it to this stage, okay? And so we need to carve out, hang on, I think I fight with my chair. Carve out the body shape. So we'll cut off the back end. I've even bought the bin in today, so I don't have to throw cake everywhere. I probably still will, but you know. So that's his bum end. His nose end's coming down here. I thought it was quite useful. Good evening, Rose. Hello, Karen. I thought it was quite useful that our piggy nose comes to a point down here, and there's a natural point here, you see. So, Christine, it's a 10-inch square. I've stood my ground tonight. 10-inch square. None of this 8-inch rubbish, round rubbish. I need a bit of space to breathe, you know. You guys will just have to find people to feed it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming in now. I'm going to leave it a little bit wider. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make it easier for you guys. Let's just mark it out a bit. So I'm going to leave a little bit here for those back legs. Then the tummy's going to come in. And then he's got these chunky little forearms that are coming down here. Chunky little forearms. And then we need sort of space for his head. I might actually back that up a bit. Otherwise, I'm not going to have space for his head. If I need to, I'll just make his head out of this. But I was hoping to try and get it in one, which would put his head about here. Off the front here. Let's try it, shall we? If I've got to build out, I will. I've got plenty of cake, but I'm trying to get it all in one. So, hello Ben, hello Sarah, Julie, Lisa. Lisa is now a star in her own right, having gone all the way up to Sugar and Crumbs to do a live. So we are amongst celebrities now, celebrities. But this bit's always the most difficult bit for me. I've got to try and get this all out without causing too much damage. Let's just get around this side. Oh, buttercream in the way. Okay, so we've got there's the body shape. And then I want to work on this head here. So what did we say we were doing? Doing it all in one. So I'm just cutting out almost like a triangle here. So we've got his arms, and then his arms go to where his head starts. So we've got head, forearms, belly, hips, knees. Haven't really got any knees. Bum. So let me just move it back a bit. So I've got a bit more room at the front. Stuck. Okay. Tied it up. Alright, so let's get the shape carved down. Let me just check what's going on there. Oh no, I miss my chickens so much. Hopefully we're house hunting again. We've got all our ducks in a row, or chickens in a row. So wish us luck, guys. Please, we need this. Third time in a row, we need this to actually go through this time. No house failings, and then I can get some more chickens. I miss them so much. Right, anyway, so nobody's asking any questions, are you? All just nattering, that's fine. Okay, so let's round off. Let's round him off. He's quite chunky, so we don't have to really go too far with the rounding off. Him being a piggy, of course. We don't want him to be too skinny or too... We just want to round off the top so he's not got a flat back. Oh, missed a bit. Hang on. Get off. There. Just round him up here. So this is his front legs. Coming together now. Coming towards, so we've got that sort of coming up towards his back. Bit of leggage going on. Up towards his head. There's no drop here. So this is all the same sort of thing. But this we can work down. So at the moment they're obviously too high, and we'll just cut off these top ends. Cut off the top corners. We can work his legs in completely in sugar paste if we want. So it's just really to get him started. Ooh, we've got someone from Canada. Amazing. Quite a big time difference to Canada, isn't there? Oh, right, so we've got this, at the moment, this really pointy front end, which is no good to us at all, so we need to curve it down. Now, if you were a dog, you'd have a forehead dropping down, but our piggy is sort of more of a wedge shape down to that nose. So we just do a wedge down. I was looking at the difference between adult pigs and baby pigs, and piglets have got this much shorter little nose stuck on the front. When they sort of get more adult, I've got a picture of an adult here, and I was trying to work out the difference. The adults, their noses extend, you get a much longer nose. But as a piglet, it's really sort of a big forehead and then a little sticky out sort of nose on the front. So let's just round this off. You have to forgive my slightly dodgy bake on this one. It was just a last minute throw in today. I'm just rounding off his face. Get rid of that tiny little point at the end. Round off his face. You see him? And then we can just bring him in a little bit. But he's quite chunky here. He hasn't really got a neck at all. Okay, all I'm going to do is just bring in these details here a bit, just to give him a bit more definition around here. Make sure I'm just carved down. And I think he's good. Very, very easy shape to sculpt this one. But you see how similar it is to the rabbit. What's that? Nikki, I now have 3 cakes in the freezer. I know. Thing is though, is I juggle an awful lot. So if you think about the amount of tutorials I put out, and then obviously there's not just the school ones, there's the tutorials for sugar and crumbs, and then there's the client cakes. These things, these little 1-hour sculpts, end up being such a last minute put together that I normally just throw it in when I take Girly for a nap. And then depending on when she wakes up, I take them out again, so sometimes they just go over a little bit. But they go straight in the bin. Like the last one, Gizmo didn't. Gizmo I cooked properly and I took it to my boys' school. But the boys are on Easter holidays at the moment, so I can't even take them to school. And nobody in my house wants to eat cake. Alright, so we've got a little piggy now. Can you see him? I'm pulling forward a bit now. I'm going to stuck him down there. I don't know when somebody's going to be there in December, but I don't know what's happening in December. Sorry guys, you're all chatting and I'm losing the thread. So let me just have a little assess. I think I'm happy with that. It doesn't. He's just chunky, isn't he? There's no two ways about it. There's no point slimming him down anymore, is there? So, I was about to cover him, but I need to crumb coat. My favourite bit, as you all know, is doing the crumb coat. As I say, I'm going to paint it, spray on crumb coat, just because this drives me up the wall. So this is where you have to talk amongst yourselves, or we can start the elevator music. I do hope you're all singing along with me. What am I making next week? Every week I do this, I think. This is the last one. These were only supposed to be done during lockdown. I thought it would be like, a month. Here we are. So what, 3 months later and I'm still doing them? Around all the client cakes and the rest of it. So what am I doing next week? Anybody who's joining me, who's never joined me before, welcome to my silliness. All the guys here know that I just goof about, really. I don't tend to take any of this stuff too seriously. But if you are joining me for the first time, say hello. Tell me where you're coming from. If you're watching on replay, you can tell me that as well, because then I know what's happening. And if you're not in my community group, it's called the Cake Illusionist Sculpting School Community. Search us out, come and have a giggle. And then you can influence what I teach. So all of the tutorials I do these days are because people have requested them. Seems an easier way to do them than making them up. So the giraffe that we've just put together, I was bombarded with requests to do that one. And now they're all suffering because they've got to paint it for 4 hours. So be careful what you ask for. It's all very well asking for complicated ones, but then you have to do them. So yeah, let me know your tutorial ideas. Hang on, I've got a random long bit. Oh, get off. And your 1 hour sculpt ideas. Generally, anything you want to learn. If I know it, I'll teach it to you. If I don't know it, I can't. But I will always give it a go. We've had our first couple of drafts through, haven't we? The first draft, Jan's done the first one, but I know there's another couple that are coming through. It's amazing. It amazes me how quickly you guys get onto them once the tutorials are live. It staggers me. And actually, we've had so many new wolves this weekend. They're like proper whole new wolf pack. So tomorrow I'll start sharing some of them again. And then the flamingo, that's the new one. That's sugar and crumbs. I love that cake. If you're into structure. And who isn't into structure? If you're not into structure, just because it's scary. But it's not really, isn't it? The guys here will tell you that structure isn't really as scary once you get into it. Just give me another couple of minutes to do this, otherwise I won't stick to his face. You can always ganache this. I just don't use ganache because once you're into ganache, you don't use other things. Before you get into the ganache, it's a big scary thing, isn't it? So I don't want to put people off. I want to keep these 1 hour sculpts as accessible as possible so that everyone can give them a go. So if I started ganaching them, it would put a lot of people off, and that's not my aim. My aim is to get you completely and utterly addicted and then sit and smile. So, but if buttercream annoys you, then and you're happy with ganache, just use ganache. I use ganache on anything that's structured or anything that's like a wedding cake, so it has to be sort of perfect. Anything that's not structured is just laid down like this little fella. I'm quite happy using buttercream. It's cheap, it's easy. Ganache is expensive and can be a real diva when you're not. Whoops, sorry, when you're not used to it. I saw someone say, was it Sarah? Did you say you were doing Gizmo tonight? He came out good, didn't he? So we've got this all out of one piece of cake, which is really nice. We're not having to like stick heads on the front. So yeah, it's a 10-inch, but at least we've got it in kind of one length. We haven't got to separate heads and things. You probably would have to for an older piggy though. Otherwise you won't get the length on his nose. Are we done? Are we done? Right, let's get that right. Let me just see if there's anyone asking anything. Yeah, I always wanted to say I'm a cake pimp, but I don't know if people say that the wrong way. Yeah, you've got to share the addiction. Of course you have. Karen, can we do an iguana? Yeah, iguana's on my list, believe me. I'm waiting for something very special to happen before I do the iguana, which I will hopefully be telling you about in the not too distant future. So you have to hang and wait, but he's on my list. There's lots of things on my goals list this year, and there's a list of cakes, sculpted cakes to do as well. And so far, I'm ticking them off one by one, so I have high hopes. Right, so before we finish, before we get this covered, let's just put in a couple of fleshing out sort of pieces. Now we are going to do his eyes shut, but I still think we should add some little bits of structure. Obviously, let's go with the easy one first, shall we? And pop him on. Now this is pink just because my sugar base is pink. But it doesn't need to be pink. So let's pop his little nose piece on. And we'll pop a little mouth piece. Actually, probably should have put that on first. Hang on. Sorry, pulling your nose off, dude. Let's give him a little mouth piece first. Then we'll pop his little nose on. Which way around was it? That way? And then that kind of helps us see roughly where the eyes are going to go. So eyes very much inside of his head. Come in here and here. So we're going to give him sleepy eyes. Obviously it's not too much of a jump to open them. Go around the other side. I'm just going to, so we don't get a massive drop here, I want to maintain that kind of slope down. I'm just going to put in a piece across here. Anything else we need to do? We could put his little tail in underneath and then build it back up now. I'll tell you what, let's do it over time. Should we add anything? Bulk up his arms a little bit. Just to help it. One there. I'm going to run out of sugar paste and that'll really annoy me. One there, one there. Oh, Barbara. Actually, Barbara, I don't know. It's either going to be £30 for a flamingo or 40. The horse was 40 because it was structure. The rest of them are 30 because they're not structure. But I don't know if Carol will consider the flamingo structure. I mean, it is structure. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what she's putting up as. But it'll be 30 or 40, depending. Which, given what you're accessing, is phenomenal value. And really, these online classes have opened up the whole world to so many people, haven't they? And me too, you know. It's kept me going during a pandemic. Alrighty, let's roll it. Let me see, ask questions. So Jan's waiting on a new mixer. That's exciting. Yeah, nobody's allowed to buy tutorials if they don't make them. I don't subscribe to the hoarding thing. especially as the tutorials tend to leapfrog off each other. So it's really useful. Your confidence grows as you do the online tutorials. So please don't hoard them. It makes me sad. Find time to do them. You just have to commit a certain amount of time, you know? And then once you've done it, you're so proud of yourself, and everyone else is so proud of you, that gives you the buzz and the motivation to do more. So it's motivation, but you have to get started. Motivation doesn't come on its own, it comes when you start. And then once you start, you get that little buzz going. You all know it. Wouldn't be cake decorators if you didn't know that buzz. Like this, you know? I sit here at 7:30 thinking, I don't want to do it. Why have I agreed to do this? God damn it. And then as soon as we get into it, I'm like, ooh, this is kind of fun. So such is the same. Procrastination is a nightmare. It just makes everything feel bad. When in reality, it's all quite good fun. All right, I think I've made this massive because I've just given you a waffle on. Oh dear, hang on. Did we decide if we were doing a furry pig or a not furry pig? Because technically they're furry, aren't they? But everyone thinks they're not furry, which is really weird. There we go, Piggy. All right, let's see if we can find him. It is a total addiction. But you know what? We could have a lot worse addiction, couldn't we? So let's go with it. There are worse things to do than make cakes look beautiful and give them to people. So I'm just going to bring in this back leg. And bring in the front leg. Dead easy, this. Much easier than like the deer and stuff, where you've got to work out all these fancy legs and stuff. Back leg. Front leg. And find his little face. Where are you, Piggy? I'm going to just push these legs in because I don't want them, they're so small on him. I don't want him to end up with legs splayed out further than they're supposed to be. They literally hug around his face, don't they? Start finding that end of his nose. All right, I'm going to sit down. Give him a bit of shaping. Jane, how much fondant am I using? I coloured 1.5 kilograms because I need some chunky bits for his front and back legs, and I was concerned that I'd end up with not quite enough. So 1.5 kilograms. So if I just go around and cut off now, because then I can make his limbs, can't I? We do his face as well. I'm just going to turn him so I can get him cut under. Oh, I'm going to hit the camera. You would do that. Just pushing in here. Don't want them to be too stuck out. Oh, hey chat. What are you doing hanging out with us girlies? If you get to this point, so chat's asking what happens if the pieces you put in underneath are too big. You have to uncover him and go again. You've got a certain amount of manipulation. You can sort of go in and poke him and prod him a bit. But if you've really done it wrong, you have to go back, and you should be able to peel the sugar paste back and then have another go. I always think it's better to do that, because otherwise you just spend the rest of the time wishing you had. Like, there's no point. Like, the regrets live with you a lot longer than fixing it does. So you may as well just get it fixed. So I'm just going to quickly cut off around here. Oh, doing this round at the phone is complicated, to say the least. Right, so I've got enough. That's good. So let me just get him tucked in under here. Just trying to look at my picture, figure out where these eyes are. I'm just starting to rough in where the eyes are. Oh, I'm doing a sleepy, aren't I? So I don't even need to do that. Okay, so I've got plenty of sugar paste here to do the legs, so we definitely didn't need any more. Right, let's get some features done in. Yeah, chat, it's a female-only group. So unless you're a girl, you have to get out. You're an honorary girl, aren't you, chat? Always have been. There's a few of you. No, it's fine. We'll let you in. Chet is one of my oldest cake buddies. Not that he's old, just that I've known him for a long time now. Okay. So let's put these. So he's got some. His mouth comes under here. So we want to get his mouth in first and then put his nose on top. Let's bring his mouth in. And I'm just going to squeeze it underneath so that his mouth doesn't get too big. Tuck it in. Where are you, little piggy? Look like some sort of random dolphin type thing at the minute. And then we're just working on this nose, so it goes up in the middle a little bit, down, round. I got my pen. Oh, my pen. Something on my bottle. And then we're going to come around. In. Normally I'm telling you not to make piggy noses, so it's quite weird here making a piggy nose. Normally I'm like, don't put the nostrils right in the middle because you'll turn them into a pig. So I'm just pushing forward to flatten this nose off at the front. And then we'll use our, use a big bottle? No, too big. Middle bottle in one. Trying to get around the other way. In two. Very unusual. And then he's got some wrinkles here. So I'm just using again my chisel end. He's got a very, very small little piggy nose at the end because he's a piglet. So if you look at the adult, this bit gets out a lot longer, but in the piglet, it stays quite small. I'm just working in his mouth. I know it's not the best angle, but there's only so much I can do on the 1 hour ones. I'll put pictures up afterwards so you can see. I've just literally built on his nose. Okay, and then if I, let me see, hang on a second. Turn him sideways a bit. Working backwards. So my sleepy piggy, he has one at the top, one at the bottom, And then we're just going to run a line through. So I'm marking out where it would be the top eyelids coming in and the bottom eyelids coming in, and then I'm just putting a line through. Just a second, hang on. High risk. Oh. Can you see that? You see? There. Okay. I'll do the other one. Now you've got that. We'll do the same on the other side. Let me try and show you that better. So there's our top line and the bottom line. So the line over the top, line on the bottom, and then this, I'm just almost like an eyelash going through. Trying to compare them from the front. The problem with doing animal eyes on the side is you can really end up risking them being in completely different places. He's very cute. I'm just pushing in at the front edges to give him those tear ducts. Right, hang on a second, I'm just going to move this back a bit now. Otherwise you'll lose the whole thing. Oh, I shouldn't be messing around with it. Okay. Right. You've got your eyes in, you've got a nose in. I'm just digging in here. Just pushing back here a little bit. Give him a bit of a where his nose ends. Okay, let's quickly, let me just see. You can't call him Little Spam. I'm just going to move these back a bit. You see him? All right, let's do some limbs very quickly. Ah, Sarah's got her Sculpt tools. Okay, so we need to do 4 little limbs. They're just little chubby fat things. They're really nothing difficult at all. And the advantage of us already having them done in pink is really helpful. I've got a crease here that I can't get up. Okay, everyone. Sorry, my tools are completely covered in icing sugar now, so just going to cut back and create that little hoof. Nobody say anything. Nothing. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want you to think it. Right, if I look on... Stop it. If I look on my picture... Oh, we have a boy in the room as well. Oh dear, terrible. So I'm crying now. Look at my picture. We've got like an extra toe foot thing going on here. So look, I'm just going to put that in. Oh, did you see that? There. Stop. Right. Shh. There we go. We're gonna come in here. Stop it. Okay, here we go. I probably put that a little bit too far back. Oh, dear me. I didn't think about that when I chose to do this. I'm going to just lose that extra leg a little bit, extra toe a little bit. I'll put it on in a second. That's terrible. Right, it's too long. I feel all is lost. I've got to do 4 of these. God damn it. Right. Okay, put it together. How am I going to get through 4 of these? Oh, dear. Right, look, let me just put that, which way around does it go? That way. Let's put that bit back in. There we go. There's 1. Shall we just leave the other 3? I don't think I can cope. That's hilarious. I did not see that until I suddenly made it. All right, there we go. Look, cute. Come on, let's get back to the cuteness. Remember? It's a baby piglet. Oh, crap. I've got to make 4 of them. I'll never survive. Right, okay. Whose idea was this? Wasn't mine. I've got to connect it to here. Oh, we'll just put them in there, yeah? That's so bad. I've made a lot of animals and I've never felt like that before. Well, very rarely. Oh dear, here we go again. There's no way of avoiding it either. Ah dear. Grow up, Hannah. Here we go. I'm growing up. You're growing up. We're all growing up, aren't we? Grow up. Will it help if I make them furry? Ready? And then look, I'm just going to connect it into the elbow joint here. It's supposed to be cute and wholesome and sweet, and you guys have ruined it. No, I've ruined it for all of us. There's 1. If you get a join there, you just need to put a bit of water on to just blend it in. Did you take it a bit longer, or is it all right? We've got another one of these sidey ones here somewhere. One, 2. Oh, somebody else come do the other 2. Right, we all made Jen. I said nothing. Not my fault. Oh, dearie me. Okay, right. Yeah! That's made me sweat, ladies and gents. Oh well, at least I've giggled at myself. So, 3rd one. We're getting bored of making these yet. I knew you guys wouldn't let it go. Come on, I'm trying to move on now. Oh dear. Right, 3rd one. God, give me a backache now. Here we go. Oh, here we go again. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Stop it. Oh, dear. All right, I'm not doing any more on screen. I'm doing them off screen. I can't cope with it. That's ridiculous. How did I not see that was going to happen? Oh dear. Well, I tell you what, when you make these, you're going to be sniggering away to yourself in the kitchen. That much for sure, isn't it? Everyone's going to want to know what you found so funny. Nothing. Well, I've made it too short now, damn it. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll rescue it. We'll put it as a back rib. I made a little short one. A little short hoof, ladies. I made a short hoof. And gentlemen. Oh, it's really weird having a chat around. There could be lots of men watching this, you know. They just don't chatter. You never know. There might be lots of them. I've squished that one a bit, so hang on, let me just unsquish it. Oops. I'm just trying to bring him a bit more definition in here. I've lost his leg definition. So that's 3, and then one last one. Yes, I'm glad I cleared you all up. I shall do one last hoof. Oh dear. I'm not doing it on screen, I refuse. You can't see it. And so just get straight. Oh dear. Right, 1, 2, 3, across there. And again, you need to cut the join. Right, only 2 limbed animals from now on. 4 is too difficult. Oh, we're joining down there. So he is missing 2 things now. Did we decide we were going to do him furry? We couldn't decide, could we? I give him a little bit of fur. Oh, I need to put that back one in there. What time is it? Okay, so let's quickly put an ears and tails on. So ears, realistically, you should be using modelling paste. I haven't got any, so if my ears fall off, then you know, it's all my fault. We'll just do with a cocktail stick or a skewer, obviously long enough to go in. So sorry, I'm a bit snotty still. I've had a bit of a cold, and I've been waiting all week to get rid of it. I'm sounding a lot better, but that giggling is maybe a bit snotty again. So, colour lily shape, like that, and then get your skewer in. So mine are going to be a little bit on the small side because I'm using paste, not modelling paste. If you've got modelling paste, use modelling paste. And I therefore want them to be slightly smaller so they don't fall off, she says, hopefully. I'm going to stick him into the side of his head. Hopefully. I don't mind if they go a bit saggy. We've got one there. And one on the other side. Oh, we got a spammer. Are you sure it's not me? After all, the content is definitely X-rated tonight. So this other ear, I'm just going to make it a bit thicker. So again, it's just like a petal shape. But again, you'll find this much easier if you take the time and you use modelling paste, and you just, even if you just let it set up for 10-15 minutes, it will obviously make your life a bit easier. And he probably look quite cute with big ears. Straight through his brain. Just check that I'm not going to hit the other ear. Yep. That one's significantly better, to the point that I'm always tempted to redo the other one. But I don't think I'm going to. Maybe I am. I never quit. I can't let it go. I have to read it. So we've got time. Right, what is that? What was our spammer saying? Hope they were saying this is an amazing tutorial. It's so worthwhile. You should all come and watch this. Were they telling us we should buy Gucci watches? I should have a look afterwards. There's kind of attracted dodgy folk. Well, I'm dodgier folk than you lot. We try again. So in, fold it over, making a calla lily shape, pushing out the edges. Oh, try not to get the other one. Right, little tail. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to attack it with a little bit of brown dust. Oh no, we're not going to do a little bit of fur texturing, but very, very slight. And they sit up at the back, don't they? Oh, it's hitting the thing. Just flapping a little bit. Just going to narrow off his head a little bit. A bit more neck shape. And then just a little bit of water up by the bottom. Hang on, let me see if I go that way. Yeah, I can go that way. Just about. Give it a nice long tail. Is that too long? Extravagant. Right, so going back. Whee. Just pushing in a little bit. Making it slightly less chunky at the front here. Okay, a little bit of fur texture. Oh, hang on, I'll just move that way and sit down again. A little bit of fur texture and then a little bit of dusting. So, because little piggies are furry, but too much fur and he's going to sort of start looking like a wild boar or something, isn't he? Just trying to narrow up his head a bit here. So if we just do with our flat edge tool, I'm just going to come in. I'm only going to do a little bit, because we'll be here all night otherwise, just to try and give him a bit of texture. So remember, this is just 1 hour. There's a lot more you could do with him if you've got a bit of time. You could open his eyes to start with. Just shape him up a bit more. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. I just come across the back a little bit. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the brown dust out. Yeah. And just see if we can't accentuate him a tiny bit. Because at the moment, because he's all one colour, so you could do this on an airbrush, you could airbrush and shade him a little bit, but he definitely needs a bit of shading. But unless you're really, really confident with an airbrush, I probably wouldn't airbrush him. Like to the skin tone, like airbrush is shading in. So that's quite a nice way to get into airbrushing. If you're not used to airbrushing and you want to get into it, pre-colour your sugar paste to like the base colour that you want, and then just get on your airbrush for a little bit of shading. You'll still bring it to life exactly the same as if you totally airbrushed it, and still give that really nice detailing, but you haven't got the fear of massive amounts of risk with airbrushing. And just, again, I really shouldn't have put those 2 pieces in underneath. Like, the first pieces were fine, but then I went and stuck extra pieces on, and that's just made it a bit too chunky. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get a tiny bit of brown. Oops, I haven't got myself a plate or anything, so I'm going to do it on the table. And try not to overdo this, she says. Ready? Ah! Dark brown on pink. What could go wrong? And I'm just giving him the smallest amount of shading. It should just sort of bring him to life a little bit. Actually, you could go in and make him, you know, those like old spots. Should we do that? Shall we freestyle it? This is where shit will all go wrong, of course. One of those old spot pigs that's got kind of like the big brown. This is called freestyling. It's what I should not be doing on our 1 hour live. I should stick to the plot. At least he's interesting now, isn't he? And that's the thing about dust, is it's just less aggressive. So like if I tried to paint that, it would just look like a big black splodge that I painted on. But because I've dusted it, it becomes part of this patination. And then you can just work the dust into the middle of it to make that bit darker. Nice, isn't it? Should we do it on his face? Put it over his eye. Ready? What's the worst that can happen? Live streaming, making it up as I'm going along. So with your dusting, you start wider with light dust, and then you go back in with your darker dust to darken up whatever bit the middle of it is. And that's how you build your dusting up. Do you know what? He looks like the Moana piggy now, doesn't he? The one from Moana's got. Oh, I love it. There we go. So now he's got a bit of, what did you say he was, Jane? Gloucester Old Spot. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he's very cute now. Even with his dodgy limbs. Oh, it's really brought him to life, actually, just that little bit of dusting. There we go. So there we go. That was a nice and gentle, with not anything to giggle about at all, baby piggy in an hour. Done. Covered in dust. It's sweet, isn't he? Bit dodgy around here. Dead easy, that cake, isn't it? Dead easy. Right, there we go. Pure? Is that the pig from Moana? I'm very sorry about the limbs. Let me just try and get a better angle on this. I don't know if I can do it. Hang on. Let's try. Because I think he looks really cute. I don't know what the rest of my room is going on about. Whoa. I think he looks really cute from like slightly lower. Can you see him? I'll take some photos anyway. There we go. So, Oh, so he's talking about Morrison's. Okay. Sculpted cakes scare me to death. Look, dude, I've just done that in an hour, from cake to that, live, in front of a whole bunch of people, where anything and everything can and usually does go wrong. If I can do that, then you, in your own home, away from anybody, can do it. I promise you. And like, your fear is the only thing to fear. Like, once you just give it a go, it just flows. And then if it doesn't come out amazing, it really doesn't matter, because it's never going to come out amazing the first time. But the point is that you can't get to the time it does come out amazing if you don't start. So you have to start. And all of these ladies and gentlemen, check, I'm so sorry. All these ladies and gentlemen started feeling like you. Leave my degrees of redness alone. Goodness sakes. They all started out the same. Everyone starts with fear, and then you give it a go and you realise, firstly, it's not that difficult. Secondly, you can always improve. And thirdly, it's a huge amount of fun. Fourthly, everyone thinks you're amazing. You pull one of these out, like I could give that to a client and they think it was the bomb. Never mind the fact that we've done it in an hour with a lot of sniggering and giggling on the way through. If there are any questions, Katie, are you in our group? Are you in the sculpting community group? Because if you come into the group, Cake Illusionist Sculpting School community, we will all help you out and cheerlead you and generally shove you in the right direction until you grade your first sculpt, and then we will laugh when you become as completely as addicted as the rest of us. Okay, yeah, and if it goes wrong, you just eat it. It's very, very hard to go wrong. There can just be degrees of better. There, right, so there we go, Katie, join the group. If Jen is floating around, which I think she is, I'm sure she will spam you in a second with the link to the group. And then come find us. All these lovely ladies on here, and gentlemen, ladies and chaps, will help you out, okay? I'm glad you've all had a giggle. I did not see that coming, and that's probably the worst sentence I could use in that context. But until I sculpted it, I didn't see it, and then I was stuck with it for the rest of forever. Right, I'm going to leave you all alone. I will come back now and check all the comments, and if I've missed any questions, then I will answer them as best I can. See you in the group. Look forward to seeing all the giraffes, jaguars, wolves everyone's making, and I am this week going to start working on the new one, which is a staffy. So all those staffy loving folk, or all those staffy loving clients, hopefully will have a really, really cool tutorial for them students. I'm going to go away and let you all think about how you're going to make these lovely, lovely hoofs, and what inspiration you have at home that you can use for references. See you later.